in the past, but to look at some of the proposed sites for moving the American embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. As some of you may know, there's overwhelming support in the U.S. Congress to have the American embassy in Jerusalem. In 1995, Congress passed the Jerusalem Embassy Act with overwhelming support that this should be moved. You also probably know that within that law there was a waiver where the President of the United States could extend the deadline for moving it every 6 months, and they could cite national security concerns. So even though presidents like Bill Clinton and George W. Bush campaigned on moving the embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, it never failed that they exercised their national security waiver and did not follow through with what the law would have then triggered. I don't know if President Barack Obama promised to move it, but I don't think any of us thought he was in favor of moving it, and it wasn't a surprise that he didn't do it. Well, Donald Trump as a candidate campaigned very aggressively on a number of things, including that he would move the embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. And that is already the law. Congress has already weighed in. President Obama did a waiver in December for 6 months before this decision would have to be, or the Congress's mandate would have to be carried out. A lot of people thought maybe Donald Trump would do this on day one. He did not do that. Some were disappointed. They say they're looking at the issue. But here's the deal, and why I thought it was important to come out and get some knowledge in the Congress about where this thing will actually be, is he's in a position where he's either going to follow his campaign promise or he's going to actually have to sign this waiver. And I just think, knowing the president, he's been a man of his word. I don't think that he is going to, on the same month where people here in Jerusalem are celebrating the 50th anniversary of Jerusalem Day, sign the waiver. I would bet that he would not do that, and that he would announce that the embassy is going to be moving. We will have had our ambassador, David Friedman, confirmed by then, and so I think it'll be easier for him to follow through with the policy than it would have been on day one. So I think it's going to happen, and I wanted to come out here and look at some of the sites that people have discussed, and we looked at the Consul General site over on Oregon Road. We looked at the U.S. Consulate section on David Flusser Street, the Diplomat Hotel, which is right by there, which the Americans have an interest in. And then there's a parcel of leased land in between that area and where we are now. My sense is having looked at that probably that consulate section is the most ready building to do an embassy, but that's obviously going to be something that the president and his administration will have to decide upon. But this is exciting, I think, for a lot of us who believe that we've had a rough go in the previous 8 years with U.S.-Israel relationship. I think we feel like we're resetting this. We're really strong, not only from the American people, the Israel people, but also both the governments very much in sync, recognizing the common threats we face from terrorism, from terror-sponsoring regimes like Iran, and really working hard on the national security issues, and then, of course, economically. So to see this happen 50 years after the liberation of Jerusalem is going to be exciting for a lot of people in the United States, and I know it's going to be exciting for a lot of Israelis here in Jerusalem. I'd be happy to take any questions.